All right, continuing our study of slope and finding slope. Your last lesson was taking a line and counting on the line to find the slope of that line. And you would try to find 2 points on the line. We would either circle them or put a dot on them. And then you would count your slope. You'd count how much you went up or down and compare it to how much you went over. Now the next step is, what if we're given 2 points? No line on the graph, like you can see here, but just given 2 points. If I have a graph, then I can actually just plot those points and then count. So here I'm giving a problem to you that says find the slope of a line that goes through 3, 6 and 4, 8. Well, since I have a graph, I can actually just plot those. Count right 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 6, 2, 4, 6, and I'm going to plot 1 point right there. And then I have 4, 8. So I count 4, and up 8. So I went 6 is up to the other dot and 8 is up here. And I can plot those 2 points, and then I can draw my line from those points. And once I've drawn my line through those points, I can use the line then to count that slope. So if I want to count that slope, I'll start at my point on the left and I'll say, all right, this line goes up. How far does it go up? It goes up 2 spaces. How far does it go to the right? It goes to the right 1 space. So the slope of this line, m for moving or slope, is 2 over 1, which is 2. So when we're given 2 points, we're told to find the slope of the line that goes through it, we can plot the points and just draw a small line, and then we can count our slope. That's one way to do it. Let's take a look at a second line. Find the slope of a line that passes through negative 2, 2 and negative 6, 4. Negative 2, 2, so let's see, go to my origin, left 2, up 2, and I need to put a dot in there. So I want a dot right on this spot for negative 2, 2. Then I need to have another dot at negative 6, 4, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, and up 4 would put a dot here. Now let's draw in a line so we can then count our slope. Draw in a line, put it past both points a little bit. And now let's take a look at what our slope is going to be here. We start at the dot on the left, because that's right on a nice intersection. I get to count down. How far do we count down until I'm across from the other dot? Well, I'm going to count down 2, so that's a negative 2. And how far do we go over? So I count over 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So I say that my slope, m, equals negative 2 over 4. Well, negative 2 over 4, hey, I can simplify that. That's then the same as, since negative divided by a positive, I have a negative. 2/4, divide both of those by 2, can't I? So I can do 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I'd say my slope here is actually a negative 1/2. Now let's see if I can actually go down 1 and write 2 on the line. Let's go back to the original dot on the left. It says I'm supposed to go down 1 space, write 2 spaces, and notice now I'm back on the line. So this line, you could say it moves it down 2, right 4, or I could say it down 1, right 2. Either way, it works that way. So when you have been given 2 points, you can draw a graph on graph paper, plot your 2 points, and you can count it. Well, we don't always have graph paper, do we? You might be given a problem out of the book, and actually you will be working some problems out of your book, and they won't give you a graph. So you're going to be told this. Find the slope of the line that goes through the points negative 3, 2, and 5, 5. Well, let me go back to our last one where we did have our graph, and I'll show you what we do. Find the slope of the line that passes through negative 2, 2 and negative 6, 4. Well, let's say I don't have this graph. Then what we do is this. We create a t-table. And we're going to create an XY t-table. X, Y, create my little t-table here. These are coordinates. The first number in a coordinate is the X, the second is Y. So we'll put both of those into a t-table. And we'll start here and we say, all right, negative 2, 2. We'll just put that in the table, negative 2, 2. And we'll put the other coordinate in, negative 6, 4. And when we're working a t-table, we say, all right, the change in y. How much does y change? If it starts at 2 and changes to 4, when we go down on the line, how much does that change? Well, that is a plus 2. From 2 to 4, we go up 2. Then we want to find what we call the change in y. If I start at -2 and I go down to -6, what's the change there? Well, the change on this one then is down 4. Start at -2. If you go down 4, you go to -6. So I now write my slope and I say slope of m equals the change in y, 2, over the change in x. Change in y, there. Change in x, there, on the bottom. And then, yes, we can simplify this. We can divide both of these by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. -4 divided by 2 is -2. And we'll have a -1/2. And notice we have the exact same answers here as we do there and there. So we can use a t-table to actually help us calculate our slope. We don't necessarily have to have a graph to count it. We can actually use a t-table and find out how much we move up or down by finding the amount of change, or the distance between the y's, and we can find out the amount of change or the distance between the x's on a t-table. So let's go back to here where I don't have a graph, and let's build a t-table for this. So we build the t-table, xy, and I'm going to write my points in. I have -3, 2, -3 is x, 2 is y, and then my next coordinate is 5, 5. So let's figure out and let's find out what is the difference between the y. How much does it change? If I start at 2 and go to 5, that's a +3, isn't it? So I can put a 3 out here. Now I have to say how much change is there if I start at -3 and count to 5. Well, if I start negative and go to positive, that is a positive movement. How much positive is it? How far apart are -3 and 5? Well, let's see. -3, from -3 to 0, if I have a number line, let's write a number line over here. If I have -3, and then there's 0, and then over here is 5, we got to figure out how far apart are they. Well, how many spaces are there from -3 to 0? There's 3. And how far is it from 0 to 5? There's 5. So 3 plus 5. I got 3 spaces here, 5 here, and I'm going to the right. So that means I am moving positive. So 3 plus 5, that means I have a change of 8, and that's a +8 because I started at -3 and I went to 5. So now my slope, the change in y, how much I went up or down, goes on top over how much I went to the right or maybe the left. M equals 3/8. So how much I went up or down or how much I went right or left. Take a look at that for a minute. Pause the video if you need to. Let's look at another one. Let's pull the shade down here. Oops, no graph here again. So we'll just build a t-table again. Let's build a new t-table. X, Y. Put my coordinates in. 6, 7, -2, 7. All right. Hey, Y is pretty easy. 7 to 7. How much change is that? None. There is no change here. There is no change here. 0. Well, how about from +6 to -2? +6 to -2. All right, let's see here. Let's draw a number line just to help us give us a visual to see this. If I'm over here at +6, got to get a 0 here because I'm going over on the negative side. And then when it gets done, let's see here. So now let's see. Start at 6 and go to that way. So we are moving actually left, aren't we? If we're moving left on a number line, this is a negative movement. So our answer is going to be negative. How far is it from 6 to 0? It's 6. How far from 0 to -2? That's 2 spaces. So let's see, 6 plus 2, that gives me how much did we change? We changed 8 spaces, and we went to the left on the number line. That means it's a -8. So we have 0 over negative and a -8. So our slope is the change in y, goes on top, 0 over -8. 0 over -8. Well, 0 divided by any number is 0. That's right. Now let's take a look at the numbers here. What do you notice right here and right here? Yeah, we have the same number in the y coordinate. Anytime you look at a pair of coordinates and if the y numbers are the same, the slope is 0. Always will happen. Slope equals 0. Hope you can read that. I was trying to write that with the mouse. Slope will always equal 0 when the y coordinates are the same. So y coordinates are the same. Go back up here to this one. Are y coordinates the same? No. No, that's why we didn't get an answer of 0 there. However, slope is 0. If you were to actually put this on a graph, let's take a look on a brief handmade graph here. Here's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. Let's just kind of estimate a little bit. If I put out 6, 7, that's 6 to the right and 7 high. -2, 7. Same height, isn't it? Notice if I draw a line there, where will my line go? It will go straight horizontal through those dots. That wasn't very straight, was it? Sorry about that. But it will be a horizontal line. It'll go straight across through those dots. And that's anytime you have that, you got a slope of 0 right there at horizontal line, slope of 0. All right, let's go down to one more. One last one. Now I have find the slope of the line that goes through 3, 2, and 3, -1. No graph to put it on. That means we're going to build our t-table. So xy t-table. 3, 2 are my coordinates. 3, -1. And if you're looking for some pattern already, you should notice something in the x column. But let's pay attention to our y column. 2 to -1. 2 to -1. How much change is there? 2 down to 0 is 2. 0 to -1 is 1. So that is a change of 3. Positive to negative means I'm going -3. X, how much change is there in x? 0. No change in x. So then I'm going to say that the slope equals -3 over 0. Uh-oh. -3 divided by 0. I can't divide by 0. So what does that mean? This is when it's undefined. This is your line that goes vertical. You're up and down. Undefined. It's called an undefined slope because when you try to calculate it, you have a 0 on the bottom of your slope to calculate with, and you cannot divide by 0. So we say a slope of a horizontal line is undefined. Not horizontal, I mean vertical line. My apologies, vertical line. Why is it vertical? What do you see right here? Anytime the x numbers are the same, it's undefined. If I was to make a very quick xy axis here, it would look like this. Oh, that's really bad. Let me try and make a line like this. So I got a line like that, and I got a line like that. Now, if I want to make a new line, I got to put my new points out there. 3, 2. So we're about right 3 and up 2 a little bit. And I'm going to go right 3. Same far distance to the right, down 1. Notice all those dots line up vertically, don't they? So now I'm going to make a vertical line that runs like this through those dots. And notice that is the up and down line. And that has a slope that is undefined. So x number is the same, undefined, vertical line. Y number is the same, slope is 0, horizontal line. All the numbers different, you will have a slope that's either a positive slope or a negative slope. You have four types of slope: positive answer, negative answer, zero, or undefined. All right, end of this video. So why don't you take and find the next thing that you need to do. You will need your book for this assignment. So be sure that you have your book to work in when you do this. Good luck.